All right. Welcome in. My name is Biz, and this is the first movie review that I've ever done on this channel. I am super excited. I created this channel 2 years ago to kind of go hand in hand with my Twitch channel, but I've been very inconsistent at posting anything on this YouTube channel. I still stream on Twitch. I play Soulsborne games and horror games and your occasional action RPG, so go follow me there. But then I wanted to use this YouTube channel for movies. I love movies. I have a passion for movies. In the last like 3 or 4 years, that's when I really started getting like into movies and watching a lot of movies. I don't pretend to be this like crazy critic that is like, I didn't go to filmography school or have a passion to like be a director or anything like that. I'm just a guy with a 9 to 5 and I watch a lot of movies on the weekend. I just ultimately thought like, let me go ahead and review the last good movie that I watched. And that was Dallas Buyers Club. I think I just like randomly saw it on TikTok. I think I was drawn by like the crazy transformation of McConaughey. He weighs like 130 pounds in this movie, which is insane. He just looks like a skeleton. It was made in 2013, I believe. So here I am 13 years later watching this movie. I'm always behind in movies and in video games. Here we are. It, of course, stars Matthew McConaughey, like I said. It also stars Jared Leto, and that was, like, so mind-boggling. I didn't know he was in this movie. 2/3 through the movie, or, the whole movie, I'm like, so he plays Raymond. I'm like, who is this Raymond guy? Like, I can't put my finger on it. Like, I feel like I know the actor, but he just kind of looks like like I don't know him. And then 2/3 through the movie, I just look it up, and it's Jared Leto. So, like, the crazy transformation is insane. And then it has Jennifer Gardner. I think those are, like, the big three that are in this movie. It is directed by Jean-Marc Bellet, if that's how you pronounce it. I believe he has since passed away. I think this was like the biggest movie that he had. The budget for this movie was $5 million, and it made $60 million. So that's like fantastic. It was nominated for Best Picture. You had Matthew McConaughey, who was nominated for Best Actor. You had Jared Leto, who was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and both of those guys won. My expectation for this movie, I didn't really know what was going to happen. I just kind of knew that you got this guy who was diagnosed with AIDS, and he has 30 days to live. And I'm just like, damn, what would I do with 30 days? Would I just, I know what I would do. I would not be sober for 30 days. And then I would probably end up living much longer than 30 days, and I would have to live with all the consequences of my actions. So I'm like, oh, is that what's going to happen in this movie? It's not. He ends up spiraling a little bit, but he ultimately just decides like, no, like something has to be done. Something has to be done, or something has to be possible to like fix me, right, or cure me. So he spirals for a little bit, and then he does some really good research. Okay, like what is HIV, what is AIDS? And so he ends up going into like a drug trial that doesn't really, or he doesn't get like acceptance. It turns out it's not really effective anyways. And then he gets tipped off to like go find this doctor in Mexico. And I kind of thought this was funny. The doctor in Mexico, like he goes to meet him, and basically the treatment that he starts to give him was like, hey, stop doing all the crazy drugs and dumb stuff that you're doing. And your body, take your vitamins and eat your protein, and your body's going to do a lot better than it is right now. You don't need like these crazy drugs. It's a little more complicated than that. I think he gives him like some things to help fight off infection or, boost his immune system and stuff like that. But basically he's like trashing his body with drugs and alcohol, and it's just making him 10 times more susceptible to the infection. And that's what deteriorates your health and kills you. And the doctor is like, nope. Take your vitamins, man. Don't, just be a more healthier person. You're going to be okay. Of course, it's going to be something that's going to have to be managed and you're going to have to live with long term. And it's obviously very serious. But, you can really, if you have the right tools, you can do really well with this diagnosis. So then he's like, oh, shoot. Okay, doc, let me try that. And he starts feeling, way better. And then, you have this character who is like, he's kind of a scumbag, right? In the beginning of the movie. He's just like banging chicks in like the bullpen at the rodeo, doing all the drugs, needle marks. He's a drug addict. He's emaciated and just so skinny, a skeleton. He's a homophobe. Like he's a really trash person, and it's kind of cool to like see his transformation over the movie. But anyways, the doctor tells him this. He's like, damn, doc, like if you could sell this, you'd make millions. And then cut to the next scene of him smuggling, those drugs into the US to sell it and make millions. So that's kind of what the movie is. It's he goes into a different country and he's like, this treatment is what I need. Why is this not accessible in the US? What's accessible in the US is not helping. So let me take this treatment into the US, sell it to people that need it, that don't have access to it, and then also make some money, right? He has the FDA breathing down his neck. He has law enforcement breathing down his neck. These things aren't like approved, so he's like smuggling them, over the border. He flies to Japan, so he's like going through airports and stuff like that. So it kind of is more focused on that, like the healthcare system in the US, maybe versus like other countries and stuff like that. It's based off a true story. The acting was fantastic, Matthew McConaughey won a Oscar. Jared Leto won an Oscar. Jennifer Gardner, I think, did great in her role. And I think what was so cool about each of their roles was that you can see them battle with all their different demons and how they overcome and maybe not overcome. McConaughey's character, where he is just like a scumbag, right? And he's homophobic. He's banging chicks in the bullpen at the rodeo. He's like doing every drug under the sun. He's emaciated, weighing 130 pounds, and he just kind of makes this full transformation by the end of the movie, working on himself as a human being. You have Raymond, who struggles with their addictions and that disease. And then you have Jennifer Gardner, who struggles with like what's right, what's wrong. She's in the U.S. healthcare system and believes they're doing what's right, but like sees some corruptness. And so all the characters, I think, really have like a cool story arc that you get to see the whole time, and I could really appreciate that. I thought the cinematography was really cool, because it captures in different parts of the movie. Like you feel, when McConaughey's character, who is just grimy, right? You feel the griminess of like the set design and of the shot, right? What I didn't like about the movie, I think it drags a little bit. This movie is just about 2 hours long. I think they probably could have shaved 20 minutes, kind of in like that second to third act. I feel like it gets a little repetitive. It's just a lot of like, McConaughey's character going to get the drugs and bringing it over, and the FDA says, nope, can't do that. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to go do it again. And it feels like it just kind of gets repetitive in the middle. I think they could have shaved that while keeping some of the really emotional parts in the movie still. So what would I rate this movie? Overall, I think it was a fantastic movie. I think I'm going to give it a 4. A 4 biscuits out of 5. I think it was a great movie. I really love the acting. I really love the story. I love the cinematography. It had great music. I think it just dragged a little bit. It gets a little long in the middle. I think towards the end of the movie, I'm like, how is this going to wrap up? There's a lot of powerful topics in this movie that maybe could be difficult to watch, such as homophobia, stereotypes, prejudice, addiction. But you get to see how characters overcome and sometimes don't overcome these difficult topics. Maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, right? You just want to go see a good, shut your brain off, go see a good action movie or something like that. That's not this movie. It has a lot more thought-provoking, deep topics. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a 4 biscuits out of 5. Check it out if you really want a powerful story, powerful acting, all around great movie. Please let me know what you think in the comments. So that is going to wrap up my first movie review. When you watched it 13 years ago, what were your initial impressions? If you watched it more recently, like me, because you're behind, what did you think? What did you think about the acting? What did you think about the powerful topics in this movie? Let me know. Hopefully, moving forward, I can start to do a lot more movie reviews and movie rankings. I want to do some movie rankings, by favorite actors of mine, like Matt Damon. I am still streaming on Twitch, so if you want to follow me there and chat it up while we are gaming. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I don't know why you did. This is probably a horrible review and a horrible first YouTube video for myself, but I plan to keep practicing and I plan to, come out with better videos and reviews. But thank you for sticking around and your support. And yes, I hope you have a great night.